An empire betrayed. A gate unlocked. Manzikert.
Welcome to Histoglorik.
It was the summer of 1071 when the empire that called itself Rome marched east, seeking to reclaim its glory. The Byzantine army, led by Emperor Romanos IV or Diogenes, advanced through the dusty highlands of Anatolia. Their goal, to crush the rising power of the Seljuk Turks, led by the cunning Alp Arslan. But what began as a campaign of domination would end as a catastrophe that reshaped the world. This is the story of the Battle of Manzikert. The Byzantine Empire was no longer the titan it had once been. Centuries of war, betrayal, and internal decay had taken their toll. Still, its armies could be mighty when united, and Romanos believed he could restore that unity. To do so, he assembled one of the largest Byzantine forces in years, over 40,000 strong. But the army was a fragile mosaic of factions: loyalists, mercenaries, and bitter rivals. Among them marched Norman knights, Turkish auxiliaries, Armenian levies, and Varangian guards. Trust was scarce. Many despised Romanos, a soldier emperor who had seized the throne. Chief among his rivals was Andronikos Doukas, son of a powerful noble family. Romanos knew this campaign was risky, but victory could solidify his reign. And so he led his army deep into eastern Anatolia, into the vast unknown. Meanwhile, Alp Arslan, Sultan of the Seljuk Turks, had been campaigning in Syria. When he heard of the Byzantine advance, he rushed north, not to flee, but to confront. He offered peace terms, knowing war would be bloody. Romanos refused. The emperor believed he had the upper hand. He did not. The two forces would meet outside a small fortress town called Manzikert. On August 26, 1071, the armies faced each other on the plains under a blazing sun. The Seljuks, outnumbered but swift, harassed the Byzantines with hit-and-run attacks. Their horse archers moved like shadows, loosing arrows then vanishing into the hills. Romanos ordered an advance, slowly pushing back the enemy through sheer mass. But as the sun began to fall, everything unraveled. Romanos ordered a cautious withdrawal to camp. But his message was misunderstood. Some thought it was a retreat. The Byzantine line wavered. Confusion spread. And then came betrayal. Andronikos Doukas, commanding the rear guard, refused to support Romanos. Worse, he abandoned the emperor and spread rumors of his death. The center collapsed. The Seljuks struck like wolves into the confusion. The proud Byzantine army became a writhing mass of panic and death. Romanos fought bravely, rallying what men he could. But it was no use. The enemy encircled him. As night fell, the emperor was captured. It was the first time in centuries a Roman emperor had been taken alive in battle. He was brought before Alp Arslan, expecting death. Instead, the Sultan treated him with honor. "What would you do if I were your prisoner?" Arslan asked. "I would kill you," Romanos replied. Arslan smiled. "I am not like you." The two leaders struck a truce, but the damage was done. When Romanos was released, he found his throne taken, his empire in chaos. Blinded by his rivals, he died in agony a year later. Manzikert was not just a military defeat, it was a civilizational fracture. The Byzantine heartland, Anatolia, lay open to the Turks. Within a decade, entire regions fell under Seljuk control. Turkish tribes poured into Asia Minor, founding new principalities. the Greek Christian identity of Anatolia began to vanish. For the Byzantines, this was the beginning of the end. They would survive, but as a shadow of their former self. Constantinople would never again command the East as it once did. The road to the Crusades, to Ottoman conquest, and to the fall of 1453 all began here. Manzikert opened the gate. For the Seljuks, it was a triumph that echoed across the Islamic world. Alp Arslan became a legend, a warrior king who humbled an empire. But he too would die only a year later, stabbed by a captive during another campaign. Even in victory, time showed no mercy. Still, the tide of history had turned. What Romanos had hoped would be a revival became a reckoning. His arrogance, his disloyal generals, and his divided empire all led to ruin. The Battle of Manzikert proved that empires fall not just from outside, but from within. It was treachery, not tactics, that sealed the fate of Byzantium that day. A single battle, a shattered crown, a lost homeland. Even today, the name Manzikert stirs emotion. In Turkey, it is celebrated as a national turning point. In Greece and the Orthodox world, it marks a moment of deep sorrow. And for historians, it is a warning of pride, of betrayal, and of how quickly a world can end. The wind on those Anatolian plains still whispers of August 1071. The clash of steel. The screams of betrayal. The thunder of hooves. And the silence of an empire dying. This was Manzikert.
Subscribe our channel for more videos.